ago. And then that's when the scanner came about. And, you know, for us, I'm going to be totally frank, with my medical background, I always was like kind of with big pharma. You know what I mean? Like pushed certain stuff because that's what I learned in nursing school. That's what I learned with my education. So supplements to me weren't really like something that I was going to dabble in because I'm like, what do you mean? There's a pill for every ill, you know? And not to say that there isn't something that, you know, is necessary for a medical condition, but I never thought of possibly using supplements um, to get off of medications that I was even on. So, you know, fast forward, I heard about this scanner literally in Whistler. And I actually pulled Ricky aside. I'm like, Ricky, tell me a little bit about this scanner thing. And so she was kind of explaining it. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Does it really work? And she's like, yeah, it really works. And so I did my research. And that's when I started on Life Pack Nano. And I was able to, I was talking with Joanne, and I was able to rent the scanner. I have it right here still. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the background, the research, everything about it. I'm like, why doesn't every doctor's office have this? Why doesn't everybody have this? And I'm like, okay, I can understand because these are hard to rent out. There's only, I think, 5,000. And, you know, it costs money. You have to get the scans. It's a process to get people scanned. And I'm like, okay, there's the hiccup there. So I did my best on my end to educate my people and, you know, drive out to meet them, to scan them and, you know, see everything. Um, but when I heard that this baby was coming out, I actually teared up because I'm like, are you kidding? Were they reading my mind that I was like, we need to have this handheld. We need to be able to sell this to people. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be like $1,000. That's fine. It's worth it. And then to find out it's going to be much less than that, I was like, is this a joke? Like, will this actually work? Because this is next level. Because not just for like us and our lives, right? But our children's lives, our parents' lives. This is next level when it comes to our health because we have everything that backs it up. We have the supplements that are proven. Literally, if their results are not like certified, like scan certified, and you don't get those results, you get your money back guaranteed. I don't know what other, there isn't another supplement that can company out there that can say that, right? We are the only ones that can prove that our supplements work. And that in itself, I'm like, why isn't everyone doing this? This is like the biggest gold mine I've ever heard of. Um, so basically, let me tell you how I'm going about this. I am big into education, but when it comes to being a nurse, when I would talk to my patients, I wouldn't throw out this all these big language, you know, medical terms that I learned. I would essentially dumb it down, right? I would talk on a human level because no one else, my patients didn't typically have the education that I had. So if I'm using these big words, they're gonna be, I don't know what that means. They're gonna probably like nod their head and be like, okay. No, I'm gonna explain to them in human terms how, like what this means. So I'm doing the same thing when it comes to supplements and when it comes to the scanner. So first I have to explain what this does. How does it measure, right? Again, I'm dumbing it down for everybody. And then we talk about, well, what can solve the issue of your scan score? Well, we have all these supplements that work. All right. So I was actually talking to Ricky earlier. I was like, can I say this? I just want to make sure I can because the way I really explain it to my customers is what I say is I talk about the fact of what free radicals are. If no one knows what free radicals are, please research it, but it's basically everything that's bad for our bodies, our cells typically. So that's pollution, that's stress, that's bad eating habits, that's like riding on an airplane a ton, that's like smoking, all the things that causes free radicals. And what do free radicals do? They attack our beautiful, healthy cells, all right? And nothing is there to protect our cells from these free radicals that will damage that cell except antioxidants. So think of antioxidants as like an army that's standing up against the free radicals that are trying to attack your cell, okay? Now, in order to get these antioxidants, like Ricky says, we have to eat the cups, those 4 cups of fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. And you have to make sure you're living a very healthy lifestyle. The average American does not. I'm going to be totally honest with you. So with that being said, I would rather take these supplements to raise my antioxidant scores. Okay. Now, if you do not have antioxidants, let's just say it's low. When I first scanned myself, I was 27,000 from this scanner. And so I was in the orange and I was pissed. But what it told me is that I am more susceptible to having diseases later in my life. Cancer, diabetes, heart disease, because I don't have anything that's protecting my cells. So if anything happens and I have all these stress and free radicals that are just attacking my cells, my chances of getting something later in life were much higher. And I was like, holy crap, that's insane. But I eat healthy, I work out, I don't smoke, I'm not obese, all these things. And yet somehow I still scored a 27,000. So that has to make you guys think that unless I'm supplementing with a ton of fruits and vegetables, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm not doing that because I am a mom of 2, I'm running my business, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be able to take my supplement twice a day and raise my antioxidant scores on itself. Okay. So again, you obviously want to put a disclaimer when you're explaining free radicals and antioxidants, right? The whole disease thing. You don't want to say, okay, LifePak Nano is going to solve this, and this, it's going to prevent all this, because that's not what it's doing. What it's doing is it's building your antioxidant levels to protect against the evil free radicals. I hope that makes sense. If not, try to do your research and really, really understand. Now, my approach with this, obviously, is to do the education, right? But then also the convenience, how this will change your lives. Because a lot of people are focused on like the things that they can feel, see quickly, right? For me, when I take my LifePak Nano, I don't necessarily feel any different. Maybe I'm not getting as sick as much, but that's why it's so important to almost explain why this is so important and to be able to test your antioxidant score, because a lot of people they want to see new biome, boom, I feel immediately when I take that, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, this is working, right? That's not this case really with LifePak Nano. The only way that you're able to see if it's actually working is this right here. And you can have this in your household. I started scanning my kids, guys. I am so mortified, embarrassed, hurt, all the things. I feel like the worst mom in the world because my kids scored red. They scored 20,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, as a mom, that just kills you. And the fact that I was able to check their scores. Well, guess what I did? I boosted so much fruit and vegetables into their diet. They're so mad at me. They're taking Junkables, all the things. And guess what? Their scores have already raised. They're now at 27,000. So you deserve to know what your health score is. You deserve to know what your children's health score is. I did the same thing with my parents. I said, you are checking your score right now. I don't care what else you take. You're checking your score. And I checked their score. My dad and my stepdad scored so bad. My mom, she scored the best. She's in purple. Why? Because she eats a ton of fruits and vegetables. She's not even on supplements. But guess what that gave me? That gave me peace of mind that my mom is okay. She has the protection against the free radicals. So I feel like, I'm like, okay, she's safe. That's how I view it. My stepdad and my dad, on the other hand, they're on LifePak Nano, let's just say that. And my stepdad went from a 19,000 now to 46,000 in 3 months. Okay, he was the first person that was like, I don't believe this works. I don't believe it. He's gone off all his other supplements. He's like, I'm just taking LifePak Nano. I'm just taking this because this actually works. And he goes, and everybody needs to know about it. So again, this is going to change lives. We are going to make so many kids, elders, people so much healthier. And we don't have to get on medications and fix these. You're going to see people get off their medications. I'm not claiming that. I want to disclaimer, I'm not claiming that, but I'm saying they're going to be healthier. Okay. So this will change lives. My approach again is like getting online, talking about that, educating, really building the hype that this is going to be coming out. But also I have been going to doctors' offices. I've been going to OBGYN's offices, anybody I can talk to and saying, you need to listen to me. You can change your patients' lives. Not only can this be beneficial, monetization wise, but let's really talk about like why you started, becoming a doctor in the first place. It was to help people, right? Not just put band-aids on people, you know? So let's like fix the root problem here. And so with this, I know not only is it going to change my business, but it's going to change so many lives. That's it.
Oh my goodness, Amanda, if you could see the chat right